Hey guys, what's going on? You're back with me and Haynes with the process programming. We are still continuing our ring muscle up series. We are at the fourth and final part of a ring muscle up tutorial where we're basically going to finally piece together steps 1, 2, 3 and add in the final fourth piece to give you hopefully either your first kipping ring muscle up or we look at linking more reps together. So we'll dive straight into this. Now remember, this fourth step is essentially bringing all three of the prior steps together, plus adding a few extra parts in there. The first thing we're going to do is just revisit the transition drill that we did in video number 2. So what we're looking at here, setting up in a set of low rings, we're looking to drive up and jump with the legs from the floor up through the rings, and we're now going to work the transition with the kipping ring dip. Okay, so the first video we're going to go through here, jump through the rings, knees drive up to your chest, down and reset. Now, do remember we do have two kipping ring dip options. We have the knees driving up to the chest option. Similarly, we have the heels driving back and sweeping back up towards your ass, which is the second variation of kip, which we'll go through in a sec. So again, knees drive up, down, reset, jump up through the rings, pause for half a second, knees drive up and down. Again, we're going to zoom in quickly on and just have a look at the hand work that needs to happen when you hold a neutral grip. Again, the idea that we kind of played with last time was a guy spinning pizza dough around his hand, enough so that the pizza dough never loses control and flies off around the shop somewhere, but enough so that the pizza dough can actually spin around his hand and he remains in control. Same thing here with the rings. The hands want to be tight enough so that you don't fly away and you can actually produce power through the rings, but also loose enough that your hand can actually drive over the top of the ring. Very similar to actually a bar muscle up. Remember, the wrist should be coming from underneath the ring to on top of the ring. In slow motion, you'll see the fingers definitely loosen up a little bit as the hands turn over the top and receive. If those hands don't release and you don't allow you to come over, you're going to be catching a really uncomfortable, almost fully extended position of the wrist, which will definitely lead to some sort of injury later on down the line. You've got to learn to be a bit more smooth through the release of the hand and catching on top of the rings. The next video we look at is the heels sweeping back in the kipping ring dip. It's exactly the same as the first video we showed, just a slightly different variation on that kipping ring dip. As the feet naturally swing back, the heels will come up and then we dip out there. Next video we're going to look at, we're actually going to look at the full kipping muscle up, driving up through the rings, and we're looking just at a single rep, knees driving up to the chest in that kipping ring dip. So again, jump into the hollow, drive through, pause for half a second, knees drive up to the chest. So again, we're not looking at linking reps right now, we're just looking at that single rep. Again, you're piecing everything together that we did. The first video, your kip, jump up, hollow, dead hang, hollow arch, shoulders drive the body back behind the rings, legs come through, and then we drive through the transition. Remember the nice loose grip, shoulders catch on top of the rings. Remember, with the knees up kip, we're going to have a slight pause in your catch position, in the bottom position of the rings. That will just allow the rings to steady before we drive the knees up towards the chest and dip out. So again, let's look at a few now here. As you drive up, knees drive up to the chest and back down. Next video we're going to look at exactly the same. We're just going to look at a single rep, but it's going to be the other variation of the kipping ring dip. So this time, as you receive in the ring dip, we're not going to naturally pause because naturally the legs are swinging back underneath the body anyway. We're going to use that swing and momentum of the legs to help us kip up out the dip. So again, we'll play through exactly the same as that first one. Jump, hit your hollow position as you jump up to the rings first. Feet come in front, hollow, dead hang, hollow arch. Drive back with the shoulders, feet sweep up behind you and fall straight back down in the rings. Notice on that kip, it's much more fluid in terms of the movement. We're not actually pausing and waiting in the rings like you would in the first one. Neither is right or wrong, but in terms of the competitive style of CrossFit, generally you'll see the second option, the heel sweeping back up, a lot more in a competitive situation, or people who are just more experienced with the ring muscle up. Next thing we're going to talk about is linking the reps. So we're using the knees up kip here, come through, knees up and back down. Now, the most important thing about linking muscle up reps, and this goes exactly the same if you're doing bar muscle ups or ring muscle ups, is that as soon as you've locked out at the top, the first thing you need to do is make sure we're in a hollow position. We know the hollow position means shoulders back, hips ever so slightly in front, knees in front, and toes in front. Getting that nice banana shape. And you'll see it in a sec. I'm going to bring up a photo when we start to link the next few reps. As you drive up, jump to hollow, drive through, catch, heel sweep back. You'll notice now as I pause, that video there, you see the orange line segmenting the screen. You'll see the green dotted lines which are coming through my body. That is an absolute essential if you want to come back down and start linking reps. If the feet are behind the body, you're just not going to be able to take any of that momentum through into your next rep. So as you fall back behind the rings, it's gentle, it's soft, it's not thinking about trying to rip, grip, and manipulate the rings. You want to move with the rings as much as possible and be as one. As I let this video play through, the hollow position holds, you'll notice it just comes straight back down, dead hang, arch, hollow, dip out, dead hang, arch, and then finish off our rep set. So I think the most important thing, once you can hit that single ring muscle up, thinking about trying to link those reps together, once you've dipped out at the top, you got to come straight back into the hollow. And the hollow position occurs by the body falling back behind the rings. If you push the rings away from you, you're then starting to try and manipulate the rings, and you're going to end up falling down like a sack of potatoes. We want to let the rings stay fairly straight, directly underneath the anchor point, as the shoulders gently fall back. You don't want to lock the arm and just free fall backwards. Think about having literally 5 to 10% tension through the rings as you're coming back down. I will put in the other video where you can see the hand work on the rings that needs to occur as you come through, transition, dip out, and then on the way back down as well. Again, the ring wants to be loose enough that the hand can just gently slide over the top the whole time. Hope these tips help you guys. As always, if you have any questions, hit us up through the Process Programming or the Hub. We're here to help you as a team of coaches. I hope it helps. See you for our next one.